Hello, my name is Sarah Johnson, and this is the Omaha Bicycle Company. I am originally from Omaha. I actually grew up just 58th and Nicholas, so not too far from the shop right now. Basically, my life revolves around this place, so I do a lot of group rides, and we do a Pedal Happy potluck, which happens right here. A lot of advocacy endeavors, working with and against the city sometimes. Mode Shift Omaha is a nonprofit I helped found. I sit on the board currently, so that takes up a fair amount of my time, but basically bikes and coffee is about all I do. So Mode Shift Omaha is a transportation equity nonprofit that started about 7 years ago when we kind of realized that Omaha has a long way to go as far as making sure that people are able to get around without just the necessity of a single passenger vehicle. So bike, walk, transit, a lot of different stuff like that. So looking at intersection safety and bike lanes and transit and helping to kind of get the word out with Orbit, which is the new bus rapid transit situation that Omaha is gratefully about to embrace. Conversations about the streetcar, but a lot of bike walk stuff. When I was in Colorado, I had a bike and coffee shop with my ex-husband, and that was just a really fun concept. A lot of times with bike shops in the winter, you aren't really seeing a lot of traffic. And at the time, in 2012, there wasn't a bike shop or a coffee shop in Benson, so I just kind of figured the concept would work in Omaha. And everyone is kind of confused by it. I feel like we call it the retail mullet. Bikes in the back, coffee up front. But yeah, that way you kind of keep the foot traffic happening throughout the winter. And then, a lot of times when people just want to come in and talk about a ride they went on or something like that, they will maybe buy a cup of coffee. So it works. I think the cooler part of the story is after I got fired from my last job, a friend of mine started a Kickstarter campaign for me to open this shop because I didn't have any money and I had just gotten fired and I didn't know what I was going to do. And I had job opportunities in Minnesota, South Carolina, California, again, just friends in the industry. And a bunch of my friends and family here were like, no, you're not leaving Omaha yet. So Kickstarter was super helpful. So we raised about $15,000 in I think 45 days, which made it doable to get this place off the ground. Well, when you're scrambling to get something open, so I actually lost my last job in June and then had the shop open by October. So it was all very fast forward. So it's like, what is it? Oh, we're in Omaha. It's bicycles. Okay, the Omaha Bicycle Company. I just wanted something that was kind of classic and timeless, and I love Omaha, and I wanted to make sure that Omaha was part of the name, and we just went with it. So when I was going to school in Lincoln for a journalism degree, I started riding bikes. I bought a bike for $100 on it was before the internet pretty much. You didn't find things on the internet, you found things on posters in dorm rooms. Anyway, so I bought a bike for $100. And I took it in to get tuned up, and the guys that I took it to were like, you paid $100 for this? And started laughing at me. And I thought, oh man, I just got ripped off or something. And they're like, no, this bike's worth like $500. It's sweet. Way to go. And I was like, whoa, bikes are really cool. And so then I started riding that bike, and then I realized it was a little bit small for me and kept going back to a friendly shop in Lincoln, a little Cycleworks. And then, bought a helmet and bought gloves, and then eventually bought a better bike. And the guys there kind of were like, you're here all the time, you should just work here. So, okay, that sounds good. So I started working there and then started racing with their team, mountain bikes, and then briefly attempted to use my journalism degree, and I sold advertising at the Lincoln Journal-Star, which was not my cup of tea, we'll just say. Yeah, so that proved to me what my passion wasn't. So I kind of went crawling back to the bike shop, and just, yeah, that's been my life ever since. I think my initial goal with the shop was to just have a new bike shop to hang out in. Getting kicked out of the last one that I kind of helped start was a rough feeling when you feel like you build something and then you just get fired. So that kind of made me realize, oh, well, I should probably make sure I own this one. And then, like I said, with the Kickstarter thing, it all just kind of worked out. But the goal was to just create a place that I liked to be. You know, we're open 5 days a week because I really believe in weekends for both myself and my staff, and just, you know, prioritizing quality of life and community, and bikes and coffee fuel that fire for me. But yeah, I think probably the big goal was to just find a place where I felt at home, and I knew that I wasn't going to go anywhere for a while. And since then, you know, we've expanded. That was not really part of the initial goal. I definitely will never have a second location. I've been asked a few times over the years to open and, you know, location number 2, whether it's someone at Blackstone asked me, Exarbanville, like just a handful of different places, Midtown Crossing. But I guess they say never, but I will pretty confidently say I will never have a second location. We have more space next door. That's plenty. So I'm grateful that it's still a place I want to be. So I suppose as far as goals go, that part's worked out well. But yeah, mostly just a place where people feel comfortable. I mean, that's another thing, being a woman-owned bike shop. There are not a lot of shops in town that are terribly friendly to women. There's some good ones. I mean, depends on who you're working with, I suppose, on any given day. But definitely wanted to make it a very approachable, welcoming, friendly bike shop, which I felt like wasn't being done quite how I wanted it to be done yet in Omaha. So hopefully now it is. I think partnership-wise, you know, it is technically a sole proprietor situation here, but I could not have done it without the support of the community, friends and family. Again, that Kickstarter campaign was started by a good friend of mine, and then very much supported by my family. My uncle, actually, who's a realtor, knew I was looking for a space, and I found this building, and then gratefully talked him into buying it so that I could lease it from him until I was able to buy it from him. So that was, I mean, I would not probably be sitting here without that connection and opportunity and relationship with my nice Uncle Jim. Thank you. And then honestly, it's just the customers, my staff, team, whatever you want to call them, friends, really. I always joke that you shouldn't hire friends, but it works well for me. Then you want to be with them all the time. So yeah, honestly, the community of Benson also is really a supportive, tight-knit, creative, brilliant group of folks to be associated with. The BID board was a really neat group of folks to be associated with. And yeah, people that walk through the door every day, wouldn't be here without them. It's a good question. I mean, you kind of look up to anyone who owns their own business because it's 24/7, even if you're not open 24/7, you never really stop thinking about it. But as far as, I don't know, I don't know that I've been asked that question specifically before. You know, any business that stays open for more than about 3 years is someone that I admire, because they say that anyone can do it for like 2-ish years or so. We're gratefully at 5.5, so I'm happy about that. But I don't know, I think anytime you have a woman-owned shop in a male-dominated field, that's a little bit challenging, and so I definitely look up to a lot of my friends in the bicycling industry who have, I'll say Anna Schwinn specifically. She has been fired for having ideas that don't go with, you know, the organization she's necessarily representing at the time, but she just knows what she thinks is right and keeps going, and so I think that's been kind of something that has influenced me to, you know, speak your mind, and even if it's not the popular opinion, as long as it's, you know, that it's right, it's worth fighting for. One or two challenges. Wow. I guess the most recent challenge was the expansion. I made this big deal about how we were going to knock a hole in the wall between the 2 bays, and then I got the quotes that were like $50,000. So that didn't happen. So trying to be creative about how to work around 2 physically separated buildings. I mean, we have 2 front doors and 2 back doors, so that's what we always tell people. We don't need a hole in the wall. We have created, thanks to my boyfriend, a virtual hole in the wall. So there's like a TV screen with a camera on each side, so you can kind of wave to whoever's working on the other side. And we have walkie-talkies, so it's kind of a high-tech version of a hole in the wall. So that was challenging. And, it, you know, like with anything, it always ends up costing more than you thought that it would. So just trying to navigate an expansion in the winter of a bike shop was not maybe ideal, but happy to say we've all come out rather unscathed. But yeah, that was certainly a challenge that I learned a lot from. And I think the other challenge is just like the internet, battling Amazon on the daily. You have to offer humans a human connection, which they don't always get on Amazon. So making sure that we're a friendly shop and very welcoming and giving you something that you can't get on the internet. So, we might not always have the most competitive pricing or the widest selection, but you aren't going to find a staff like this or a community like this on the internet. So we are a bike and coffee shop. Again, that's kind of confusing to a lot of folks, but up front we have kind of like cafe seating, and we do pastries, muffins, cinnamon rolls, cookies, coffee, tea, all sorts of juices, all sorts of different stuff coffee-wise, and then bikes in the back. So we work on anything and everything. We're a full-service shop from full custom builds, wheel building. We do a lot of fit work. Been to fit school. Jim does a lot of fits. And we sell new bikes only. We don't sell used bikes. We don't do rentals, but we do sell a lot of Jamis and Salsa and some Surly Blix electric bikes. That's actually been the thing that's blown up the most for us recently is electric bikes. The big thing that I like to try to do is get people understanding that bicycles are transportation, not just recreation. So anything that we can do to really kind of inform and empower people to use bikes as transportation. So electric bikes have been a huge part of that because Omaha's hilly, Omaha's hot. You don't always want to show up drenched. I'm a grimy bike shop owner, so I can look like this, but not everybody can. So electric bikes have been a huge part of what we do. But we also do group rides and, again, more advocacy work, so pedal happy potlucks. We do a Tuesday night ladies ride, a Thursday night road ride, Saturday morning coffee ride. We do a full moon ride, which is just a bar crawl. So more lifestyle, casual, commuter type stuff. Again, I used to race bikes, not anymore. Now I just show up in Chacos, and that's about it. I do think that one thing that certainly sets us apart is, again, a woman-owned shop. There's no other ones that I know of, certainly not in Omaha. I don't think even in Nebraska elsewhere. So that's something that I think is just kind of interesting. We do have a lot of women customers because, they've maybe been treated not so great somewhere else and they've heard my name somehow, so they show up here, which I'm really happy, of course, to help however I can, care who you are, man, woman, whatever, child. So that's one thing. And then, the bike and coffee shop thing, that's just trying to create a space where people are comfortable. There's no such thing as a stupid question, just really making sure that everybody feels like they fit here. We get a lot of loners or people that don't necessarily have a place to hang out. More the merrier. Come on, I'm kind of a weirdo too. It's just making sure that everybody feels comfortable here, I think, is something that we strive for, and we hear a lot that it's working, so that's good. And we also do, again, the fit stuff. So you come in with neck injury or shoulder issue or something like that, you're not comfortable on your bike, give it to us, and we set you up next door. With the expansion, we have room for a new fit station, so measuring your femur and your, a lot of different fore after the saddle height, stem length, bar width, all that stuff. So specializing in fit. And then I don't think there's a shop in town that really takes commuter stuff as seriously as we do. I commute year round and feel very strongly about that. Yeah, I definitely just kind of keep showing up and hoping that the money keeps showing up too. It's, again, kind of hilarious. I don't have a total strategy on my budgeting. I don't really pay for advertising. We just use Facebook, social media, word of mouth. So that's one strategy, I guess, that we don't really pay for traditional advertising. And then, you just kind of, once you've been doing it for so many years, you kind of know what does and doesn't work, and the winter's slim and the summer, you make hay while the sun shines. It's about as, strategic as I get. Don't plan on thinking about much aside from your business for the first forever. I don't know, also be nice to yourself, make it manageable, and know what is important to you. Like, we're closed 2 days a week. I get some grief for that sometimes, but overall it's making a lot more sustainable situation for me, rather than being open 7 days a week. I think probably it's kind of a silly answer to what's next. More of the same. I mean, I think that like every year it's been like I bought a house, or I am expanding, or it's always something. And I think nothing maybe for a minute would be nice. I just had a bunch of health stuff go down the last year and a half. I just had surgery 5 weeks ago, and so just kind of like doing nothing and appreciating what is working, and not like it's that whole adage of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I feel like it's finally fixed. It's finally good. We've got more room. The expansion went pretty well. I think just next is just like being content and keep, working on efficiency and making sure that everyone's getting taken care of, and that everyone's happy here, and being, a little bit more community forward facing. This last, like I said, year and a half, I've been dealing with some health issues, and I haven't really been doing as many rides or as much stuff because physically it's been a barrier, but I'm feeling good now. So just kind of back to what we normally do, which is group rides and lots of fun and coffee. I'd say Omaha it is a love-hate relationship. I'm from here. So, I've watched it evolve over the decades, but also after living elsewhere and coming back to Omaha, I realized we have a long ways to go. Omaha is very conservative as far as, just baby steps in any direction that we're taking. So I'd really like to see it get a little bit more up with the times as far as transportation goes. The mayor and I don't always see eye to eye. Again, she's kicked me off of the BID board, audited my business. So she and I maybe have some room to grow. But yeah, I think overall Omaha is an easy place to live. It's affordable. I had a bike and coffee shop in Colorado, which was really, really difficult to maintain. The economy crashed. The 2008 stuff happened. And when you're living in a tourist town, it doesn't absorb that as well. So Omaha, it's an easy place to live. I always say it's like the boomerang effect. You think you're gone, and before you know it, you're getting sucked back to Omaha. So I think I'll stay for a while. Oh, Omaha is just full of great people. I think that's most of the answers that I've come up with today involve people. I just really like the people here. I always say it's like a small town with a lot of people, because you kind of know everybody in Omaha, and that's good and bad sometimes, but yeah, for the most part, it's the people. I think Omaha's going in the right direction. It's maybe going a little bit more slowly than some of us are excited about, but there's some good stuff being done. I'm encouraged by a lot of people who are slowly starting to run for office and take over positions of power that have been predominantly just white old dudes in suits. So fewer of those is kind of refreshing. But yeah, I think that, again, I keep talking about transportation because I guess that's where I live. We have a long ways to go. Orbit, even if the streetcar, again, hesitating to call that fully transportation, but just showing people that there are ways to get around town without just a single car. I suppose in that regard, I'd be for it. But yeah, I think it'll be fun to continue to watch it grow. And since I've been in Omaha for the last 9 years, pretty much everything that I've been doing is trying to kind of shove bikes down Omaha's throat to show that, like, it is a viable means of transportation. It doesn't have to just be get decked out in Lycra, get on the bike path, and ride for fitness or for fun. It's like, I just want to ride to the grocery store or to the shop or to my friend's house or to the bar. And so just really trying to show people the culture and the lifestyle of just living on a bike is something that I'm looking forward to continuing. I say a lot of times, I've been kind of an importer and exporter of ideas. And I think that when you come from a bigger city and you move to Omaha, it's pretty easy to get plugged in here and actually come up with a plan and then implement it. And the cost of living is really hard to beat. Again, from a tourist town, the mountains of Colorado, to Omaha, your dollar goes a lot further here. And the people are nice. It is. It's the middle. It's the heartland. It's a friendly place to be.